Well, the cover slaves, and I'm tired, boss. So it would seem I've been suspended for 68 years on Dakka Dakka. Now, like with the Custodes thing, this is probably all just a long time coming. A little more than a year ago, sort of stopped playing 30K, kicked out of some groups for similar purposes. And with the new Custodes, it just seems like it's the latest shit test. It's the latest, how would I put it? It's the latest purity test because there's no nuanced takes. You're either for it or against it. I mean, most people's reaction has basically just been that they don't like being gaslit. They don't like being told it was always this way. But that's also how the forums seem to work as well. It's always this way, in terms of a certain political bent being the Overton window. And they're kind of lashing out because I don't think they like the way the wind is blowing, at least politically. So that would seem to be part of it. I'm kind of resolved. I mean, I don't think I'm getting the account back anytime soon. That's fair. It's their website. My only concern, I guess, going forward is people who kind of follow a lot of the 30K Legion stuff or Titanicus stuff, at least in terms of Dakka, will be saying, well, where do we follow you now? I mean, the reason I liked Dakka was it was simple. I could just sort of blog at my own ease. And really, that's all I did for the most part. I posted, photos and hobby projects and mega trains. But for people who want to follow me now, we've had a defunct, IG account that we don't really upload to. I might start using Instagram more. It'll probably just be Facebook, to be honest. In terms of the images that are still on Dakka, I mean, I've asked for them to actually deactivate and delete the account because there's, 16 years worth of content there. There's probably, 5,000 more photos. And maybe that's sour grapes, maybe that's, taking your toys, but that's a lot of backlinks to Google, and they do advertise. So I have contacted the webmaster and, asked him, said, hey, I'll be 106 by the time I'm able to deactivate my own account, it would seem. So rather than wait till 2092, perhaps they would be kind enough to at least be reasonable and remove the content. So far it's, quiet, but we'll see what happens there. In terms of what I can actually do to get them, to take down the photos, I could probably do individual DMCA requests if they're not listening to me in terms of taking down individual photos. That's not a problem. I don't really want to be that petty. It might come to it, but I mean, I'm under no delusions I'm going to get my account back. In terms of how it happened and how it might relate to the Custodes thing, well, it was a thread about Custodes, so I guess you could say I knew that no matter what I did, whether I just stated my opinion, it really wouldn't matter if it was outside of any kind of Overton window. With enough reports, you're just guilty, I guess. That seems to be how Dakka works. And I just, I don't owe them that secret. I think that's sort of an open secret at this point. If you go against the grain, you'll be deleted. It doesn't matter about your contributions, clearly. What surprised me, though, is some of the mods who, at least I thought we were on a friendlier basis, won't respond, at least so far. So, I don't know. I may have to go a legal route to get stuff removed, but either way, I guess I'm not on Dakka anymore. 68 years, though, is what seems a bit petty and what it seems a little personal. You'd think if I was really a horrible Nazi or whatever they want to call me, they'd, delete the horrible things I say. Well, they delete some things. They keep others, so who knows what really tripped them off. But I just don't think they should get to keep the content. Either way, the main topic is how GW's shit tests just sort of roll downhill and everyone has to take a side. And the funny part is I actually had a rather nuanced take. I don't really care about the female Custodes other than it makes the Sisters of Silence faction not necessarily a priority, and it kind of confuses things. I certainly understand the optics of GW not liking women being quiet or whatever they went with, or whatever comments to that degree, sure. I don't really care. The topic, of course, went to trans space marines, and I said I'm all for it. Trans inclusion in 40K, it seems right, They just didn't really like my reasons for said inclusion. But I do wonder, I mean, Sargon made a video where it's kind of baffling why of all the intellectual properties you'd want representation in, you would pick one so violent and speculative and grim and futuristic and all that stuff. But it's a pretty big tent already. There's all kinds of crazy, weird things in 40K, and there's probably room for all things. People just don't like the overt politics, and it's impossible to extricate these two things. Because, of course, it came down to, well, now what's your opinion on trans rights or whatever? It was really not the intent. They had brought up the concept, right? They didn't like my opinion. That's fine, but I don't recall attacking anyone directly. In fact, you know, I got attacked personally, and those people are still there. But c'est la vie. I know how to read a room, and they don't want me there. That's fine. But it's unfortunate that it's just the end result of GW's shit test. If the continuing biggest controversy was Games Workshop having, you know, logistical issues, that's a much bigger problem that's not in any way binary, because even the biggest fan can say, I haven't gotten my new book or my new kit, and these are problems you really can't hide. But GW's fandom of the company itself is very good at acting like the Stasi, and you don't even really need a mandate. They all see what the correct opinion is, and they fall in line, and whoever's in the out group gets kicked out. But what a way to do a hobby. You know, if I have to express how I feel, I'm tired, boss. I think, you know, GW's been dead for a while. What they didn't like was me sort of just laughing at the demise of it all, saying, well, you know, like, I'll just accept the lolcow that we're all living in now. They didn't like that. But GW, you know, the logistic problems, the problems in general, they're really hoping with the game systems in general and the products that the bloat will hide the rot. And I think, you know, that works for a time, but we can all smell it. Can kind of, you know, taste it, and it would seem like the winds are changing politically. How that may affect the hobby, who knows? But if someone wins in November, it's going to be very interesting to see how these people react. And what they don't realize is, like, we're not going anywhere. So I'm not on Dakka. I'm still in the hobby. I still have no intent to leave the hobby. I just won't be posting on Dakka. Anyway, thanks for watching.
In order to get more students involved in the science fair, I'm gonna take this list and boil it down to the best and the brightest. That selected group will then present one project which will make Roger Beekman look like a fool.
That doesn't involve more students, it involves less.
Hey, look at you adding and subtracting. Well, this isn't math, mister. This is science. Understand? Okay, you Koreans and you Jews will make the core of the think tank. Megawati, you're the wild card.
What about me?
You're off the team.
What? But I already signed up.
And now you didn't.
Gods of war, may your hammer be mighty.